And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us on cnyhomepage.com. Rob Maschel's our guest. He's the United County Sheriff. We've been with him for the past 30 minutes, but we've got a couple of extra questions that we'd like to ask him. We didn't get, you mentioned marijuana.
Yes.
And the state has taken a different look at marijuana, yes?
Yes, the governor has mentioned it, as you know, in his most recent budget address, that he wants to come back at it again and try to make it happen. Couple things. I mean, speaking in general terms, because this is a topic we could probably spend 3 hours on. I took an oath as the sheriff to keep our community safe, to do what I have to keep our community safe. In general terms, legalizing marijuana will not keep our community safe. It will make our community less safe. That's a general position that I've taken. It's a general position that nearly every single sheriff across this state has taken. So we pledge that we will fight this again. Secondly, whether we're talking bail reform or green light legislation or marijuana legalization, these are not things that belong in a budget proposal. These are things that belong on the floor so that the senators can debate it, the assembly members can debate it, they can get feedback from their constituents, and then they can make a vote based on what they've learned about it and what their community wants and what the area that they're representing wants. But to roll this up in a package and to shove it down these people's throats, that forces the people who may not be totally supportive of it, but if you want this initiative for your hometown, or you need this funding for this, or you want this in the budget, then guess what? You're voting on the budget, and that's going to be included in it, and that's wrong.
So you're saying that the state is looking at it, or the governor is looking at it perhaps in a revenue-producing way?
As you know, New York State has a record deficit amount right now. The legalization of marijuana, in the governor's opinion, will raise $300 million. If you look at any other state that's legalized marijuana, not one of them has met their revenue expectations. The black market will skyrocket. When I say will skyrocket, if someone can get marijuana on the street paying no tax, and the other people that want it are going to pay 20 to 25 to 28, we've heard as high as 32% sales tax on marijuana. What are they going to do? They're going to go to the street. They don't know what they're buying. It potentially could be laced with things. All these things, that the black market that we deal with now is bad enough, but it will explode as it has in other states. So that's first and foremost. I mean, to sell what we believe is a inappropriate product, to sell something that still the federal government still considers it's on the list of illegal drugs. But we're going to sell it and tax it. I mean, that's wrong in our
Just
opinion.
one more question on the marijuana.
Sure.
If somebody is smoking marijuana, just a user,
yes.
What's the sheriff's office position now? Do you arrest them?
Well, we have always issued tickets, and that's one of the misconceptions, because people say we've got all these people in jail for marijuana possession. We have never jailed anyone in our jail for marijuana possession. Unlawful possession of marijuana has always been a non-custodial arrest. You get a ticket. Our district attorney, Scott McNamara, has got an amazing program. It's a diversion program for folks issued appearance tickets for marijuana. They go through a brief, training session, and then that ticket gets dismissed. Does the law need some changing? Sure, it does. If someone gets convicted of unlawful possession of marijuana, that prohibits them from getting a college loan. I mean, that is crazy. We don't disagree with that. Just like with bail reform, things have to be changed. But to do this drastic change is just something we can't support.
Here's another one I think is kind of an oxymoron: the green light.
Yes.
Legislation. Talk about that.
Gives driver's licenses to people here illegally in New York State. Something we did not support. There were a few sheriffs that did support it, and their reason for supporting it was not wanting to give illegal people driver's licenses, but their reason for supporting it was, at least, we don't know who they are and where they are now, at least if they have a license, we'd be able to have documentation on who they are and where they live. But that was only a handful of sheriffs. Most of us did not support that. But the main reason we couldn't support that is because the initial bill, and it did change a little bit, but initially they wanted to restrict our access to DMV data, Department of Motor Vehicle data. They wanted to stop us from running driver's licenses and vehicle registration plates. my God, that's how we solve crimes. I mean, that's how we solve, imagine a little girl getting abducted, a young child getting abducted, and the only thing the witness has is a plate leaving the scene of the crime. If we don't have the ability to run that plate, that crime probably would go unsolved. So luckily, they've still given us the ability to run plates. But the one part that they did sneak in there that we still don't agree with, but it is what it is, we cannot share any of our DMV data. Any law enforcement agency in the state, we cannot share our database with any federal law enforcement agency. So, because again, they're thinking that ICE agents are going to be coming to us, say, look, we can't run a plate, but can you run it for us? But again, if we have an illegal person, a wanted person, someone who's committed a crime, we can't share the data with federal law enforcement agencies. I don't agree with it, but we had to agree to do that. We actually had to sign user agreements with DMV in order for us to still have access to the database. I had to sign an agreement that we will never share this information with certain federal law enforcement agencies. Did I like signing that? No, but I had no choice. I had to sign that agreement because we need access to DMV's database, and that's the way they forced us to do it.
Thanks for coming in.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
And thanks more for sticking around afterwards
That's
here on
pretty neat. Absolutely.
CNYHomepage.com. We'll see you next time, everybody. Until then, take care of yourself.